Actually, ang chapter 4 na ano na nako ni siya 'no, na-upload na. So kung wala nakabantay 'no, naana na sa ato ang, G-class ato pa ning the other week pa gid nako ni na-upload na daan. Okay, so we'll start discovering chapter 4. And this is basically focuses on the statistics no, for data management, particularly the descriptive statistics. Okay. So we have here descriptive statistics. Now, what is this statistics? Statistics is a branch of mathematics that deals with data collection. So basically, we're talking about statistics. So the very important thing here in statistics is the data. If there is no data, then there's no statistics because statistics rely basically on data. That is why it's a branch of mathematics that deals with data collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation. So each one of this will be discussing on the data collection. Now, as I've said, data is the very um, important thing no, in statistics. And we define this as a procedure. So in here, a proper procedure in data collection is very important. Why? Because those data are very important information in which the accuracy, okay, is very important as well. So, in doing research, mostly you do statistics because you're undergoing a study or a research study. So, you involved now in the data gathering or in the data collection. Now, it is very also important you have to take note that in gathering the data, there is a standard validated technique on gathering those data. Then we go to the data organization. This method refers to the classification no, or the organization of your data for them to be more useful. And as we know, before in the organization of data, it's really difficult because the data is mainly it is on kanang manual recording no so kung manual recording meaning you have a notebook or a record book wherein you will just write the important information. And as time passes by, it will fade. No? So medyo kuha na mag-worn out ang mga paper and everything. So you will use the most important information that we have gathered. So mo to siya yung mga lapses. But in your in our in your generation now, since we are on a computerization, we have what we call the big data. So they are now well kept in computer, 'di ba? So digital records na ang gamit and uban naka-backup na. So from time to time, naa na gid siya safekeeping in data recording. So it is very important that those data should be recorded in a database so that it will not worn out, no? Di mo siya ma-worn out. So you can still retrieve the important information. Then we go to the data analysis. It is a process of inspecting, cleansing, transforming, and modeling your data. Actually, this involves the calculation of your data. Now, before when we calculate no, the data to siya i-process, it's really very tiresome and prone to errors because you are manually computing it. But now, since we have software, no, statistical software that is available for free, then you're now going to use them and less error, more efficient, and it's um, medyo ano siya kanang mas easier to use, okay? Tapos mas kung ano mo take-in naman kaining mga estudyante karon, so it's easy for you to understand when it turns to computer. So in data analysis, we mean by calculation of the data that you have gathered, that you have organized. And Next process is and the interpretation of the data. Now, this time you already done calculation, you already done with the different no techniques or statistical tools that is appropriate for your study. And here you're now going to determine the conclusion or the significance of that result. So here you are now discussing the implications of the findings that you have taken into account. So you have now, this is not in this presentation that um, this is very crucial because you will now undergo interpretation of your data. And it should be that is why sa process pa lang, sa pag-calculate pa lang, since you are now using statistical tools, so less na gid kay siya nga magka-error. So in determining the conclusion, mas taas of chance that you really have that probability of getting a a, a good no result. So last would be the presentation of data. So in this case, after the interpretation of your data, you have to present that. Um, there are different methods in presentation of your data. It could be in the tables, o karang tables, but pasabot ka tong na kay row, na kay columns, no, in a matrix form. Then graph or chart. Now, it is not just, no, mara siya, dili siya kaayo very convincing if you will just put that in a table. But it's nice and it's easy for you to understand when you present your data in graph or chart. So kung naka-graph siya, naka-chart siya, then it's really nice and understandable. So the statistical conclusions that arrive from your data, if it is well presented using the graphs, not different graphs and charts, then it will be easily understood.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
Dili ka sulod ang
someone.
ako man ako classmate, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. Di naman ko kakitaan eh. Basta magsugod na ko discuss. Okay. Okay, so now we have, no, as I've said, we are focusing on the descriptive statistics. So, what is this descriptive statistics? So, it will just give you an information or help describe the characteristic of the data that you have gathered. So, it will just give you a short summaries about the sample and the measures of your data. Okay. So we go to some basic statistical concepts. Actually, there are more statistical concepts, but in here, we'll just introduce the very common ones. Okay, so first is the population. The population is the totality of the observation. So in this case, if, for example, you have a study regarding the students of the entire university, then that's what we call the population because you are considering the entire um, observation. Now, there are cases in which it's really impossible for you to undergo such, say, survey kung sila gyud tanan. Like for example, you're considering that the population of Filipinos goes up to millions. So it's really impossible for you to gather everyone. So we only need a sample. A sample is part of the population. So uh, the question is how many um, respondents are going uh, to undergo this kind of say interview or survey. Now there are also techniques in calculation for the number of samples. Na ay example ana is katong Sloven's formula. They're trying to get the number of population. So pwede siya. Pwede lang the corresponding error. So you have to weigh that if you want also a good chance of uh, having okay a probability of a good um estimator, then you have to give a sample that is really almost close to the population. So naa siya inano, so meaning the more sample you will have, the more efficient or reliable ang imo result. Now let's go to the variable. Variable is any characteristics or number that can be measured or counted. So we'll discuss the two kinds of variables. So we have the qualitative and the quantitative variables. So if you're talking about qualitative, it means categorical variables. So for categorical, they are not numeric in nature, meaning they're just describing your data. So manang categorical, di ba? The description of your data. So unsa man na siya example. So you have there, say for example, na kay gender, na male or female, or na kay kanang color. Okay, that that data describes, okay, using it by categories. So you are not talking about numerical values. Okay, then when we mean quantitative variables, this is now the numerical variable or the numerical value. So unsa man ni siya? So pwede mo siya sa rank, or you can have it in order, or okay, because you're talking about numerical value, so number siya. So for example, height. Okay, so you will use the numbers or the figures. So you have weight. Okay, mga inana. So you really need the number. Okay, you need the number as well. So in short, quantitative variables are numeric. So the quantitative po, this can be classified in, the variables can be classified into discrete and continuous variables. So the discrete variable, it is a variable whose value is obtained by counting. So when it is a finite, okay, finite siya, so may help mo siya. Whereas continuous variables, it is assumed to be infinite number of values between two specific values. So meaning, this includes fractions and decimal. So ang discrete katong finite, ang continuous katong mga infinite number of values. So again, we have here an example of a discrete and continuous variables. So sa discrete, they are the students present. So like for example, in a class, ihapon mo pila ka book ang present or pila ka book ang absent. Or you say, there is a marble in a jar and you want to count how many of them. So you pull it out, no? The marbles. It's finite. Okay. Again, we have here flipping of coins. So when you flip a coins, then it's a finite probability of getting the sample size. You will have the head or the tail ba ang magawas. Okay. So for a continuous, you have here a height of students. So di mo makita siya. And pwede siya taas. Okay, ever increasing. Okay. Then the weight of the students. So, uban na dagko kayo. Kamay na. Ito siya mo kamay dayon. So, nainay pa. Okay. Then the time. Time is infinite. Okay. Um, di na siya mabalik. That's why we always say, really have to value time. Okay. Now you have here the distance. This distance is also a continuous because it doesn't end. Okay. So, muna yung timanan. Kung mayroon ka og discrete, something na siya finite and discrete infinite. So we have two types of statistical data. So akong gi-explain na kaganiyan, no? Natay numerical data o categorical data. Okay, again, sa numerical data, katong height, weight, IQ, blood pressure, ana. Sa categorical, this describes your um characteristic, no? The characteristic of your data. So to be understood, because it is not a numeric, so you have to transform from a categorical data into numerical value. So muna siya, you will indicate if it is a male one or a female two. So you will sort it out into a numeric value. Mhm. Sorry. Okay, so we have four levels of measurements. What is this four levels of measurement? We have the nominal, the ordinal, interval, and the ratio. So what is this nominal? Nominal is characterized data. So it deals with the different names, colors. Okay. So na siya mga colors, na mga responses, yes or no. Okay, of survey, favorite breakfast, cereal, number on the back of a football jersey. That's so imong since this is a numerical value, so you can use also the that number na kung dula ka basketball. So ang number yun very important no, ng ginabutang sa ilang back. Then we have the ordinal. Ordinal is we mean here the rank. So na kay rank na ihatag no. Like since it is a rank from 1 to 10. So you are talking here rank, okay, and uh, interval. Okay, interval. When we define interval, imo data na it has a no starting point or like it's a starting point. So what do you mean by the starting point? Okay, ang purpose about this, just like the hormones, wala siya a point wherein dito siya magsugod sa iyang um, counting. Okay, so wala siya starting point. So it is a a data wherein wala siya fixed point. So example no sa temperature the Celsius di ka makaingon man nga zero kay ang 0 degree freezing point na siya. So kung mo base ka sa say for example heat the dili siya capable of doing it because it is already in the freezing point no including the negative value. So wala siya makita nga kitawag og starting point. Sa ratio it has the same characteristics among interval but not a difference. This have an absolute zero. So kung naka absolute zero, meaning you can calculate the height of a person or height of person because you know, okay, asa siya taman. Okay. So we have there the data collection. So data collection, nasa kay mga methods, no, in data collection. So nakay interview, no, o sa ato pa naman face-to-face interview, mail or sa email nimo, phone surveys, phone or web or online survey. Okay, so muna siya ang mga different methods in which help can collect your data. Then we have here the three ways of presenting the data, textual, tabular, and graphical. Kadali lang ha. So you have here textual, okay, tabular, and graphical. So if you're talking about textual, so kanang mga explanation, the form of paragraph. When you say tabular, it is on a table or a matrix table and graphical. So we have here, as I've said kaganina, you have the different graph, no? So tayo mga bar chart, pie, and sa mo na siya. In your presentation of your data, actually kaning tulo magamit man ni, of course. You will also explain what is being mentioned in your tabular information table or in your presentation sa imuhang graphical explanation. So, kaning tulo, gamit kayo po siya when you present your data. So, let's go to the frequency distribution. So, you're talking frequency, it means the rate how measures, okay, often something occurs. For example, Kay football practice and how frequent is that practice? You have 3 times no in a week, Wednesday morning, Sunday morning, and afternoon. Now, if you will just explain that this way, medyo dili kay siya presentably. So all you can do is present that in a frequency distribution table. So, mura ginani siya no, ang iyang mga scores. So, kung inuin mo siya pag-istorya, it's not really that good information nga mong natan. But if you will use, you're going to use the frequency distribution table, then it looks like this. Ito na kay score, nga 1 to 5, okay, frequency. How many times? Ang 1, okay, 2. Ana, okay. Okay. So, mani akong gingon, ang graphical representation of your frequency distribution. When kay bar graph, you can use here, uh, uh, Excel, pwede Excel, ani. So, sa imong x-axis, itong different names sa college, and then sa imong y-axis is the frequency. Okay, then you can look at the values in ani na. Then you have this line graph or line chart. Kung na yung hitsura sa imong line graph. Okay, or the pie graph. Out of 9, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Na siya yung mga corresponding na percentage sa iyang population. So, sa imuhang kani system. Okay. Actually, total niya, you will have total ni minus 72. So, muna ang imuhang ah, explanation sa imuhang pie na nakailingin. Kanida yun siya is 160,000. And it is just 29% of the total population. Then we go to the measures of central tendency. I know you're familiar with the measures of central tendency because we are discussing here the mean, the median, and the mode. Now, sa imong mean, okay, it is defined to this one, and you have x is just equal to x, you summation of x over n, and is a total number of observation. Ang middle, doon sa galitong mean, ang mean is kuhaon mo ang tanan o data divided by total number pila sila ka buok. Ang median, it's easy because you will just arrange them. So, okay lang ni kung gamay ra pero daghan po kayo lisod sa kayta. So, the median is you will arrange it from highest to lowest. Then tanawon din mo tong pinaka. Okay, so that would be your median. Now, if ever there are two, no, parang para even numbers, duha man na siya. So, you will take the 2 divided by 2. The answer would be the same. Okay. So, ang mode is the most repeated value. So, dito sa imong given na raw data, tanaw nimo tong most repeated value. So, mo to din imong kaon nga mode kung pila to sila kabuo. Okay. So, many gawas man. Kuan. Okay, so we have here, okay, mo siya sa ungroup data, no? So, I now the explanation. So, mani ang imuhang total observation. So, imo na siya sum up diha kani divided by 9. Ang 9 is the total number sa imuhang raw data. So, kani divided by 9 is 1.39. The median, imo lang siyang i-range from lowest to highest, pwede pa from highest to lowest. O lang yun ang middle term. Here, we have here 1, 2, 3. So for example, kani silang duha pareha. So you will divide 13 over 15. Okay? So, 13 plus 15. So 13 plus 15 over 2. Kaya duha man sila. So, latong tungaan. How, ang median mo na yung gibuhat, no? Ki-arrange niya. Niya kay 9 man ni siya. Kabuo. So, sa'yo na po kita sa middle term. Now, if it is even, so panitan ka ni silang duha, puro ni even. Amo na sila ang imo ang may tabo is di mo siya i-rise kwaon pero kung kani imo ang tungaan sa mode naon lang nimo dinhi unya say for example natay ang atong mean is 139 so napuko sa imong mode imo lang ni siyang tan-awon ang sa pinaka duol sa iya okay so pinaka kuan diri ang 15 1 2 3 katulo ang 10 duha duha ra unya ang 2 1 2 so kani siya 1 2 3 siya ra gyud ang pinaka the rest tagduha ra man so your mode is 1.5. So for the mean of group data, so kung group data, inani ang hitsura sa group data. Okay? Naka-interval siya, no? Tawag siya class limit or interval. Naa siya inani hitsura, then naka-frequency. Actually, ang given na kanita man sa frequency. But the rest na dahil you have to calculate. So from the given, mo ni siya. Okay. Kung yung F frequency. Ambot pa sabot ani between 60 to 67 na ay duha ka data nga sulod diha. So for example, 62 ug 65 sa duha. Sulod siya diri nga interval. So na kay 2. So kani imong F mo ni siya ang number of or imong gitali nga kani siya kapila nakasulod dito. Okay? Dayon summation of FIXI. So dinhi ko amo ni siya. Ang kaniding x, pagkuha niya is you will just divide ka 60 plus 67 divided by 2. Pag-divide lang nimo. So, paidulong na siya sa ubos. Imo pag-divide. So, tawag ni siya plus mark. Okay, then sa fx, multiply ang duha. So, you'll have this sum. Dayon, imo maning gamiton diri ka fx1. So, kani gamiton mo nimo. So, you have fx. So, yung button, you have to total this. Pag total nimo, muna imo butang 3 over n. Ang group, sa imong group data, inani na din ang magawas. No? Kani, 127, 111, 285, and so on. Divided by 30, the total number, 40.3. Now, sa group data sa median, nasa like ng formula. Okay? Kani yung formula. You have this in your book. So, kani, lower class boundaries, the median class, cumulative of frequency. I here is the interval. So, sa imuhang, una nimong buhaton is pangitaon nimo ang imong median class. So, naakay, pagpagita sa mid class, kani mo gamiton, n over 2. N over 2 is the total number. So, din imong total, na para magkota mo ang pila day ang ni-join. So, na kay F, kani, plus kani, okay, silang lima. So, kaning f of x mo na ni imong total over n. Ang pupangita sa n is that n. So, dinhidin ka sa lower class boundary. Kung naman kay n over 2, so ang n mo is, bali n mo diri 30. So, sa kaning sa cumulative frequency. Ang pag-solve nimo ani ani ra ha. Tawo ka sa frequency 2 po siya. 2 plus 2, so 4 plus 6 10 10 plus 10 20 20 plus 2 70. Okay? So, inani ano nimo siya pag tan-aw. Now, kining class boundaries, ang pagkuha po nimo ani, dili pud gyud mo base imong class limit. Kaning sa imong left side, mo ni siya minusan og 0.5. So, mo nang ang 60.5 nimo na lang 59.5. This sa imong right place, mo ni siya ang 67.5. Okay. So, yung lower class boundary, ingon na makag N over 2, na pinaka, mo man ni ang N na to, no, 30. Pinakaduol din ni sa F niya kay 10 raman. So, meaning, mo ni siya ang atong class boundary. So, kung nang L, C, B, or the lower class bound, lower bound, kanina siya, 35.5. Siya may nasulod diri, niya pinakubos. Okay? So, muna siya, no, 3. L, C, B, or the lower, na kay 35. Ida yun. Okay. So, na to 35.5. Okay, ang it is before Christmas. Di mo dili siya ipang plug in ang values. Okay, so LCB 35.5 and over 2 is 15. Okay, play frequency at 10. Kanya ang middle name is 0. Ang yung median class I is 8. Okay, you will have this. Tara na to. Mura sa imong median class. Sa imong mode, mo gyapon no. Lower class boundary. Pareha ra gyapon kadto mo imong lower class boundary pod. Pero ang imong mga dinhi foros na sa value sa frequency. Okay? So na kay FM so frequency nga kuan frequency nga matrix unya na din kay F1 F2. So ato siya taraw. No, dito na appeal. Okay, so din nilang ano, taman sa mode. More time na ra ba? Okay. Measures of variability. So yung mabuhaton dili isang mode. Manage variability. Ano siya? Kay LDC. Dito gyapon no, lower class boundary. Kani. Okay. Lower man sa 35. Ito siya sa ubos. Hmm. And the values na like cumulative frequency is cumulative frequencies katong previous. Okay. Okay, so may siya say na kay two frequencies yung median class. So mo median class na to diri kani. So you have here the population. Lisod ani kasi bira-bira ba? Nya kay minus F1 ug F2. Kung kita sa okay ra ni no kay naa may ni siya pero kaning duha libog niya mo F1 minus F2. This is ito gani interval 8. Okay. Can directly substitute we have here kana plus kana from 38.5 10 na lang minus 7 over 20. Okay. Okay, it's already 3 o'clock no. Na ako exam. Actually, na ako exam ang good sa gawas pod. Ano wala ko kaganina abi na ko kamo to akong exam. Kay naamon ko exam kaganina to. Nagtuo ko nga kamo ang mo-take sa exam. Kabi lang ha. Okay, kindly open your camera please. Kaya atong kuanon.